Should former President Trump still receive intelligence briefings?
I think not. I'd rather not speculate out loud. I just think that there is no need for him to have that intelligence briefing. What value is giving him an intelligence briefing? What impact does he have at all, other than the fact he might slip and say something?
He might slip. Joe, pot calling the pot a pot, anybody? Oh, boy. This is a basic courtesy that is afforded basically every former president. Intel briefings. Not the ultra secret stuff, but some privileged information. This is very, very petty, very petty in my opinion. Let's bring in Corey Lewandowski, former senior advisor to the Trump 2020 campaign. He ran the 2016 campaign. And oh, by the way, he's got a book, very good. Trump, America First, came out just a few months ago. Corey, welcome back to NewsMax. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. You know, without divulging too much information, just before I came on, I was just speaking with the former president from Mar-a-Lago. And, you know, he said, one, to wish you the best and thank you for all the hard work that you're doing here on this network.
I appreciate it very much to hear that from you, Corey. Not to drop names, but I saw him face to face yesterday at the golf course, and he said much the same thing. But I appreciate that very, very much. Yeah, he's, by the way, did you notice, as I did, his spirits? He's very, very upbeat. He's, you know, he's raring to go, I think. Your assessment?
Well, the media will never tell you that. They'll say it's all doom and gloom and that he's miserable and he's hunkered down, but that's just not the truth. You know, I have the privilege to talk to him a lot. He's very excited. He knows that this scam that's going on, this sham of an impeachment, is only going to hurt the Democrats because, you know, at first he was impeached over a perfect phone call, and now the second time he's been impeached over a perfect, you know, speech at a rally, a political rally, something that I thought we had free speech in this country, a protection of the First Amendment. The media doesn't want to say that. They have done everything they can since he came down that golden escalator to try and destroy him, but he has fought back every day, and most of the media hate that.
They sure do. Gets under their skin, and also people on the left. Hey, did you see this Time Magazine piece? And folks, I highly recommend it. It's from Time Magazine by Molly Ball. I think we have the headline. Corey, how would you describe this thing? I think it's basically Democrats and left-wingers and the media bragging about their efforts to pull all kinds of strings, I believe unfairly, to skew, shall we say, the election in 2020.
Well, look at some of the names that I mentioned there. We're all familiar now with the Lincoln Project. You know, some of the founders of that aren't doing so well today. You know, one of them has been accused of preying on young boys and promising them jobs in support of going after Donald Trump. And the other one of the other founders, has a restraining order against him from a woman in Vermont who she says won't leave her alone. And so, you know, this is what we see. And then the third founder, the woman Jennifer Horn from the state of New Hampshire, demanded a $250,000 signing bonus, $40,000 a month, a board seat, a podcast, and some other things in order to stay with the organization. So, you know, look, this is not surprising. The people who don't want to put America first did everything they could so that the swamp could take back over in Washington. They could have it as business as usual because they made a lot of money under the Obama administration, and they plan to do so again under the Biden administration.
I want to show you one portion of that article. Let's put it up. This kind of went viral over the weekend. That's why the participants want the secret history of the 2020 election told, even though it sounds like a paranoid fever dream, a well-funded cabal of powerful people ranging across industries and ideologies, working together behind the scenes to influence perceptions, change rules and laws, steer media coverage, and control the flow of information, all to have the impact that it ultimately did. Here's, look, part of me, I'm impressed, and they're saying it out loud, what they did. I don't see the same thing happening, quite frankly, on the Republican side, and some of it shouldn't happen because it's not in the spirit of who we are. But I don't know. What's happening on the Republican side for 2024? I'm concerned.
Well, we should be concerned. The one thing that Donald Trump taught us was it's okay to fight back. It's okay to push back against the media when they have a false narrative. And because he did that, they hate him for it. And so, look, what did we see? We saw unelected officials changing state laws to benefit those for the mail-in ballot. We saw that in a number of these places, there was no signature verification, or if there was a signature verification on the mail-in ballots, they were at such a minuscule rate compared to where they were in 2018 that it was insignificant. And so basically, people went out and changed laws. The heads of the media entities, by and large, all hated Donald Trump. They embraced him in 2016 for ratings, but then when they found out that he was going to push back and call them out for their hypocrisy and that he wasn't one of the country club Republicans, they all turned on him. But what we do know is 75 million Americans voted for Donald Trump because they want to put America first and not China first. And in a few short weeks, Joe Biden, through the stroke of his executive orders, has tried to reverse as many of the Trump policies as possible, and in doing so, has put tens of thousands of Americans out of work already.
So you just talked to him. I saw him. One thing I'll say, he looks, he did not age in this office. His energy is what it was. He is, I think, ready to do it again. I don't know if he wants to. He certainly can. What do you think? What are you hearing? You know him better than I do. What's going on there?
I think this president is going to be heavily involved in the 2022 midterm elections. We've talked about some of the races that he wants to be involved in. Obviously, Liz Cheney is one of those in Wyoming. For her voting to impeach the president and taking her out in a primary is something that I'm going to focus on through an organization we have that's just called Fight Back Now America. And so, look, the president is going to be involved in the 2022 cycle. We've got a long way to 2024. But there's no question that if he gets in this race, he is the 800-pound gorilla. There's a long way to go. He's got a lot of money. He has enormous support in the Republican primaries right now, in the Republican caucuses. He's got an approval rating of north of 90%. And in 2020, when he endorsed in a primary, he won almost every single time.
He is the Republican Party, in my opinion. In Marjorie Taylor Greene's opinion, she was on earlier. Hey, Corey Lewandowski, I read this about you a long time ago. I want to find out if it's true. Were you ever a New Hampshire state trooper?
Yeah, I spent 4 years after graduating the New Hampshire Police Academy on the job. It was an incredible job. And so I'm a guy who supports the men and women on the thin blue line. I'm a law and order kind of guy. Let me tell you, when BLM was rioting in the streets just this last weekend again in Washington, D.C., I didn't support it. I didn't support the protests at the Capitol, and I didn't support BLM destroying police substations and burning down buildings over last summer. So I'm the kind of guy who stands with the men and women of law enforcement.
Roughly speaking, how many speeding tickets have you issued, did you issue during those 4 years?
I'll tell you what job I had was great. They gave me the opportunity to get on a police boat in the state of New Hampshire and drive around and work on my tan. And they paid me for it, if you can believe it. So, there were a couple of citations here and there, but those people who were out in their bathing suits, by and large, they were following the rules.
All right. Don't tell that boat story too many times. We've got state auditors who are still watching this show, by the way. No, only kidding. Corey Lewandowski, sounded like a great, great gig. Thank you for your service and your continued service. Check out the book, by the way. Again, America First just came out. And by the name of your organization that you're involved with now?
It's going to be called Fight Back Now America. So it's fightbacknowamerica.com. We're going to go out and we're going to find candidates to run in those 10 congressional districts who voted to impeach Donald Trump, and we're going to make sure we have a Republican majority in November of 2022.
Okay, there's the book and the site, Fight Back Now America. Great stuff, Mr. Lewandowski. To be continued. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.